Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about 1-inch sensor camcorders, more specifically Canon camcorders, which are available in the market these days. And also I'm going to do some tests to compare it to the lower end camcorders available in the market. This camcorder is a 1-inch sensor 4K Canon XA70, which is one of the latest one available in the market. It's around $2,300 US. And also I'm gonna test it against one of the lower end camcorders available in the market to put them through their paces to see how do they perform and how do they compare, and running some tests on zoom performance, wide dynamic range, and low lights. We can make some conclusion based on the price differences that they have.
In this test, we're going to see how digital zoom performs, because I'm not really satisfied with the only optical zoom. That's the only reason I'm using a camcorder, is to long focal length. So we are on digital zoom right now. It's 300 times digital zoom, so it's good based on what I see on the monitor, HDMI monitor. Up to here looks acceptable. It's not home. It's not a theater kind of movie theater resolution, but for home resolution up to here, I think it's something acceptable, and I'm happy with this distance of zoom that it has up to here. I'm good with that, because one of the problem with this 1-inch sensor camcorder is that their zoom is up to maximum 380 millimeter focal length. So that's with the digital zoom test. Just wanted to add that the screen captures are in HD 1080p, and it's lower quality than actual 4K camera footage that is coming out of camera. There's a little bit of degradation. For the next test, instead of 300 digital zoom, I'm gonna test the digital teleconverter. So from there I go to digital teleconverter, set that up, close it. Now I've set up a custom button for that. When I push that button, it applies the teleconverter. So that's its widest lens, crops a little bit using the pixels on the CMOS sensor, so that's how far it goes. And using the teleconverter, that's how far it goes, which should be cleaner than 300 times digital zoom. And so basically the only difference is that when you zoom back, you're not gonna come all the way to the widest lens. You're gonna stop somewhere in here, then you remove the teleconverter, then it goes to here. And this is Canon Vixia HFS 100 from 15 years ago. No optical zoom. Now it goes to digital zoom all the way, 30 times digital zoom. And it's also acceptable. Then it goes to 30 times digital zoom. Then we come back. This one also has teleconverter that could be applied.
For this comparison, look at the tip of the small plants at the bottom of the screen, and you see the sharpness, compare the quality between the consumer camcorder at the bottom of the screen and the 4K camcorder on the top. This could be one factor for justifying $2,000 difference based on your preference and application. You can make use of this camcorder. I also created a video on how to get a 4K quality from HD camcorders. You can check that out.
Okay, in this test, we're gonna try to see how we can improve the dynamic range. As you see, the sky is blown up, and we have a little bit better exposure down in the shadows. So right now, we're gonna try to see different dynamic range from the picture profiles. We go to functions. From the functions, we come down to CP, custom pictures. We are at normal standard BT 709. Look at the sky, how the sky changes as I change the custom picture profiles. So moving to wide DR, selecting wide DR, you see now we got a little bit better highlights, details. That's what they claim. This is normal, and this is wide DR. And now we're gonna try to see Canon Log 3, which is kind of a flat profile, and see how it does to our dynamic range. Just wow, look at this. It has lower contrast, but look at the sky. Now sky all of a sudden is blue, and I can see a little bit shadows probably have been darkened, but it's a lower contrast. But this is great. The other picture profiles are just identical. It goes back to what we had with CP1. But CP2 wide dynamic range, it's good. It's flat. It has much more details, but it requires post modification on the footage. Here on Vixia HFS 100, we are on programmed AE. Its custom picture profiles doesn't have much of an effect. We has neutral, which has I think a most flat effect with it, and the other ones they don't have much of an effect. So another thing we can try is to switch to cinema mode. For cinema mode, I think cinema mode has the most effect. Cinema mode has most effect in terms of night mode, and cinema mode has the flattest profile. Then on top of that, we can adjust the exposure a little bit. Other than that, basically that's what we can get. Okay, we're gonna test some low lights here. Right now our gain is 35 dB, just a little bit higher than what the eye can see based on the eye's perception. This is a little bit brighter than what I see. So basically, and also I can see in the grassy area there's a little bit of noise, so gonna decrease to see how much noise is gonna decrease. Okay, now it's a little bit less noisy. This is what the normal eye sees in this light, and this can be added, but it adds a little bit of noise into those fine texture areas, so this may not be good. So this is the normal picture profile. So it's a normal picture profile. If I change it to wide DR, we're gonna have a little bit of wider dynamic range. With this, going to gain limit, not much of a difference, the same dB, but this is the 1-inch sensor capability of pulling some light from the scene. That's a program. We have other modes as well. Basically, by tweaking this gain, we might be able to get some better results. For example, TV. Basically, then we can go in the function, and we may be able to adjust the shutter speed a little bit lower. That will help us, since that will help us with the gain, and we can decrease the gain here when the shutter speed lower. So this way, we can get a little bit of better gain. But that's for static scenes, and if I move this, still in this kind of shutter speed, it's not that bad. It doesn't create a lot of blurry image. Here we are on Canon Vixia HFS 10. This is what we get in the night mode, right out of the camera. It's not bad, it has a little bit more contrast to it, and one thing I can adjust here is just the exposure compensation, and can improve it by just improving it add more noise. So a lot of noise in the fine texture area, and yeah, 0 is kind of the same thing that a normal eye sees. Still some noise in the grassy area. It's still, if I reduce it, then we're gonna get a little bit dark. So this is the night mode, but right now it's got a good frame rate. It's 1/12 of a second frame rate, which doesn't have a lot of motion blur, as you see. It's something acceptable. So now we're gonna go to, and also I cannot adjust white balance or picture profile here. So in the cinema mode, it's totally dark, cannot adjust anything. AV again is similar to
night mode. And the only thing programmed AE also is something, again, I cannot adjust anything except exposure. I can use is TV. You see TV right now, 1/6 of a second is looking much better. Much less noise, as you can see, by just normal exposure compensation. Even if I reduce it a little bit better, it's much cleaner. But the problem is that right now our scene is kind of stationary and there is not much movement. But if we have some movement, this what we have is a little bit of motion blur. So also you got to be careful to have your camera on tripod. If you have that kind of situation, like if I'm moving the camera around, you see we're gonna have motion blur on the light areas. But if we can some reasonably hold it properly, you're gonna have very nice clean. The problem is that I cannot jump between 1/6 of a second to 1/7 of a second. It jumps to 1/12 of a second, which is similar to night mode. Night mode also puts it 1/12 of a second right now. Exposure and less grainy. This is much cleaner. But you don't want that your videos look like a photo, so you have some movement in the video. So there are some, you see, the kind of motion blur you get, but sometimes, you know, you have to trade off. You'll have a cleaner image. Here I just wanted to give you a sense of how motion blur looks like in a real scene. Right now it's totally dark and we are on the same 1/6 of a second, and this is the kind of motion blur you get when you zoom. 1/6 of a second with -3 exposure compensation. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful and conclusive. Bye.